Hello to all the wonderful people listening to me today. My name is Dudley, and this is the Nintendo Elite Podcast. So I'll start by introducing myself. For those who don't know me, I'm a creative from Montreal, Canada. I write and record music. I'm part of the Montreal Steppers, and I'm a gamer. I've been wanting to make a podcast for quite a while, but I think I need practice. I love public speaking. Doing it in front of people on a stage is something I'm very comfortable with, but behind a microphone is not something that I have experience with. So I thought about making a podcast. There's many subjects I'd like to discuss, but I thought it would be easy to start with something leisurely that I'm passionate about, which is games, but most specifically, Nintendo games. I actually think this is the perfect moment to start a Nintendo podcast because this week has just been full of amazing announcements. So in today's episode, we'll go through some news like Splatoon news, Pokemon news, and Mario Kart. We'll also be going through the juiciest rumors of the week. We'll be going through some of the game releases of the past week. And if you stay long enough, there's a special segment that I'd like to do every single week. So stay tuned for that. Alright. Okay, so I got a bit closer to my mic. I don't think I was loud enough. But now we're good. So, for news, we first have Mario plus Rabbids news that are coming on September 10th, so stay tuned for that. I can't wait to see what Ubisoft Milan has been working on all this time, and what game we're going to get next month when it launches. Then, we have Splatoon 3 coming out in 2 days. I can't wait for this game. When Splatoon 2 came out, I wasn't really into online games, but I went all in into that one and haven't regretted it. And from what I've played of the Splatoon 3 demo, this will be a stellar experience. Just a little tip for those who are purchasing the game. If you purchase it digitally from Nintendo's eShop, you'll get double the gold points that you would usually get for a game. In Canada, that would be $8 worth of gold points. I think it's worth getting the game digitally just for that. There are some reviews that have come out for Splatoon 3 today. IGN gave the game 8 on 10 for its single player and are still working on the review for the multiplayer. Game Informer have scored 85 out of 100 for this game, and Nintendo Life has given it 9 out of 10. So it seems like the reactions are overall positive from the big outlets. It seems like the game has improved all the mechanics and has improved all the modes. One thing I'm very excited about is that Salmon Run will be available 24/7. So no more waiting for it to launch or for it to be available. I'm also very excited about the Splatfest. In Splatoon 2, I would play most of the Splatfest with my sister, and we developed quite the rivalry. We were always really eager to know which categories would come up. So I'm really wondering what they're going to come up with the 3-team Splatfest. And while we're on that topic, I'd like to share a bit about my history with Splatoon. So, back in the Wii U era, I lost a bit of interest in games, understandably, because the Wii U was underperforming. It didn't always have the greatest games. It didn't get games regularly at times. So it was hard. And when Splatoon came out, I was a bit pessimistic. I rented it, I think, and played one game. I thought the mechanics were pretty fun, but I put it down and never thought about it again. Then, the Switch came out and was the most exciting console, and it revitalized my love for gaming. I bought it on day one, and was really eager for Splatoon 2 when it came out that July. Even though I wasn't really into online games, I dove right into this one with my sister, and had the most amazing time. I put a lot of hours into it, participated in most Splatfests. It was quite the game. I sometimes dive into it again, but since the Splatfests have stopped, it's been harder to stay into it, so I'm really excited for Splatoon 3. Now I wonder, will Splatoon 3 be better than Splatoon 2? What do you think? If you have any opinions about that, make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Nintendo_Elite and give me your opinion over there. Now, next in news, I'm a bit late on this one, but I wanted to share it because I thought it was pretty exciting. Since last week, it's been 30 years since Super Mario Kart launched on SNES, which means that this year is Mario Kart's 30th anniversary. Now, there isn't much of a celebration for this, apart from the announcement that Mario Kart Tour is removing gacha mechanics, which is really good news because I was turned off by Mario Kart Tour for its monetization schemes. Gacha is really not my thing, so maybe I'll dive back into it. But apart from that, there hasn't been much of a celebration. We haven't gotten a new booster pass pack, even though we've gotten one a couple of months ago, which is great. I'm eager to know if maybe in the next Nintendo Direct we'll get an announcement for some new courses. That would be great. But I thought it would be awesome to highlight Mario Kart's 30th anniversary with a ranking of all the Mario Kart games, in my opinion. So the only games I'm not gonna rank are Mario Kart Live, because unfortunately I haven't bought it, so I haven't played it. And I won't be ranking the Mario Kart arcade games, because I think I've only played those once. It was a very short experience, so I can't speak on its quality. So, I will be going from what I think is the worst to the best Mario Kart. So, in last place, we have Mario Kart Super Circuit, which is the GBA version of Mario Kart. So, I'm sure this game is actually amazing, but I wouldn't know about it because I was late to the party. I had my DS when I was a kid and thoroughly enjoyed Mario Kart DS. I had played a lot of it already, and then I got Mario Kart Super Circuit. So when I got this game, it felt clunky, the controls made no sense to me, it was extremely hard to play, and every time I've tried since then, up to this day, I find the controls weird, and I'm unable to play it. So that's why it's in last place. I'm sure it's an amazing game, especially for those who played it in its generation, but it has to take the last place for me. Then we have Super Mario Kart on SNES, which is the one who started everything. A great game. It was actually my first experience with Mario Kart. Now, I'm not an old man, but when I was a kid, we were always late to the party with consoles, so I actually had my first experience with Mario Kart on SNES. This is the game that started it all. It is monumental for the history of Mario Kart and for its direction going forward, but it's old. So it's not as easy to pick up today as the other ones are, and doesn't feel as tight and as enjoyable to play with friends. So it goes in 8th place. In 7th place, we have Mario Kart Tour, which is the mobile game. Now, there is pretty good gameplay with this game. The first 2 months it came out, I actually played quite a bit of it with some of my coworkers. We would always challenge each other to complete all the objectives that were to do during that month. I can't really remember what they're all about, but it was pretty enjoyable. And I know that they've released a lot since then. They've released multiplayer, they've released landscape mode. But like I said, I was a bit turned off by the monetization. The gacha mechanics, the battle pass. It was quite expensive also for a mobile game. So I dropped off of it pretty quickly. But it's still a pretty solid game. I'm glad that they put a lot of the tour maps in Mario Kart 8 so that they get to be enjoyed in a more classical way. So number 6 we have Mario Kart 7, which is the 3DS Mario Kart. So this game was pretty solid and built upon the foundations of the previous games very well. It was quite enjoyable. It was the best handheld Mario experience at the time. Mario Kart experience at the time. So I really appreciate it for what it is. I didn't play all that much of it. I think the other ones that I will be naming after are much better. They've introduced mechanics that were much more important to the franchise than 7 has. 7 just does a really good job at being a solid Mario Kart for a solid handheld console. In number 5, we have Mario Kart Wii. This one had wide tracks, had motion controls. It introduced a lot of elements that were not present in previous Mario Kart games. A lot of characters, it had motorcycles. It was a really solid and really enjoyable game. The maps were great, and the characters and the Miis and all the moments spent with friends have been really good memories with Mario Kart Wii. At this point, all the Mario Kart games are really good. It's pretty hard to rank them, but this one will just have to take a lower spot next to the other classics that are present. In 4th place, we have Mario Kart 64, which is perhaps really the Mario Kart game that built the foundation for what we have today. The controls were great. The multiplayer was so enjoyable. I can't even remember how many hours I've spent playing with friends with this one. To this day, it holds up. When I play it on Nintendo Switch Online, it's as enjoyable as it was back then. In number 3, we have Mario Kart Double Dash, which is what many people consider to be the best game in the franchise, and I understand why. The controls are great. Playing with 4 players was a unique experience. It really took advantage of its mechanic of having 2 drivers in the same kart. It made for enjoyable parties with friends. I've built many amazing memories playing Double Dash with friends. And if this style of play could come back in a future Mario Kart, I wouldn't be mad at that. I think it would be a nice mechanic to revisit, to have 2 players in the kart and to be able to switch between both items that you have in hand. In number 2, we have Mario Kart DS, which is not typically what people would put for number 2 or what people would put so high up in their list, but Mario Kart DS had so many features. It had customization options for your kart. It had the missions, which are the most interesting element, and I'm so sad that they haven't brought it back in future games. It was amazing to play these missions and then to face these incredible bosses. They were so unique and so original. The ideas that this game had was great. It was also the first Mario Kart that I got to play online with friends, and it had download play, which is always appreciated. And number 1, unsurprisingly, is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which I grouped in with the original Mario Kart 8 because they're the same game. But Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has just polished it to a level that this has become the perfect Mario Kart game, and it is only evolving from here. I honestly don't know what they're going to do next, but they're going to need to revolutionize the franchise for the next game, because I don't think it honestly can get better than what it is right now. Either they're going to have to make a Nintendo kart featuring all sorts of Nintendo characters, or they're going to have to change mechanics in a way we've never seen before. Or maybe bring it back to the Double Dash days. Who knows? Anyways, this was my list of favorite Mario Kart games from worst to best. Make sure to share what yours is. I'm really curious to know how you would rank them and where you would rank Mario Kart DS. Now, next in news, we've had a lot of Pokemon information in the last week, and I am a sucker for Pokemon. So, a few days ago, we had information about Grafaiai, which is a poison normal Pokemon, and I don't think we've gotten that in the past, so I'm really excited to try this one. He looks like a badass monkey / lemur. I think he's based on the Ai, which is some type of lemur in real life. You can see that he has paint on his fingers. He looks like maybe he'll do some graffiti, which would make sense because of his name. He's really hip-hop, and I feel that. This might be one of my favorite new Pokemon that they've shown. Now, not only have they shown that, but today there was a huge Pokemon trailer bursting with information. First of all, we have gotten information on the 3 paths we'll be able to follow, which are Victory Road, Path of Legends, and Starfall Street. So, I will go through them. In Starfall Street, we get to fight the evil team, which is like the Team Rocket of this game. They're called Team Star, and they're supposed to be rebellious students who are causing trouble. Now, I kind of expected that this would be part of the 3 paths. It looks to me like these are the same elements that you would find in a typical Pokemon game, but it looks like this one is more fleshed out, which I really appreciate. I think we'll get some deep gameplay, some deep story, and some interesting characters through this. Already they've shown Mela, who is the boss of the Team Star Fire crew, and she's pretty rock and roll and has a huge car that she's on. Pretty threatening. I think we're going to get some interesting character moments, and that this is going to be one of the most fleshed out teams that we've seen yet in a Pokemon game. The second path is Path of Legends, which has us collect the legendary Herba Mystica. Now, I don't know what we're going to do with this herb, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be important. They've shown Arvin, who's supposed to be a gifted cook and will be one of the characters we will meet on this path. They've also shown Clough, which is the Stony Cliff Titan Pokemon. Just a giant rock crab. Looks interesting. He can spin his eyes around as much as he wants. I think he looks pretty funny. I can't wait to do this path. I think it's the most mysterious of the 3 and more like something we haven't had in a Pokemon game before. So I hope it's deep and fleshed out. I actually hope every of these stories are a good 20, 30-hour story and they're all fleshed out like a full Pokemon game. That would be the most amazing scenario. Now we have Victory Road, which is the more traditional Pokemon route that has you fighting 8 gyms and then beating the Elite Four. So we've met new characters. They've shown Gitta, which is the chairwoman of the Pokemon League. I just want to say, I really like this character. I'm so thankful that Pokemon have diversified their characters. There's more people of color in their games. I didn't realize this when I was a kid, but I was always enthralled and super excited when I saw that there were black or brown characters, because I felt like I could connect to them. But they were far and few between back in my days. So I'm really happy that kids these days get to see characters in Pokemon game that resemble them, that they can relate to, that they can connect with. I think this is very exciting. And Gitta is a perfect example of that. They've also shown Nemona, who is one of your friends in this game. She shows you the ropes. She shows you, I guess, how to do the gym challenge, which shouldn't be too complicated. They've shown gym tests, which is an interesting mechanic. It looks kind of like the challenges that you would have to do in Pokemon Sun and Moon before fighting one of the totem Pokemon. So this one has you collecting Sunflora before reaching the grass gym. I think this is an awesome added value. It brings more depth to the gym path. And I think this is one of the steps they've taken to make it more fleshed out than it usually is, which is one of the indicators that makes me think that the 2 other paths will also be pretty fleshed out. We met Brassius, who is the grass gym leader, with his Smoliv and his terastallized Sudowoodo. I thought it was pretty cool that Sudowoodo became grass when terastallized. It just brings everything full circle, because when you first meet Sudowoodo without any information, you would assume that he's a grass type. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now, in the trailer, we also saw Armarouge and Ceruledge, which are some version exclusive Pokemon. They're pretty cool. Armarouge is this big armored Pokemon who shoots blasts from his arms, and you have Ceruledge, who is a purple Pokemon with swords coming out of his hands. They're very interesting designs, and once again, I am leaning towards Ceruledge as my favorite. I also thought that between Koraidon and Miraidon had the best design because he actually rolls on his wheels. But I'm still going to get Pokemon Scarlet. I usually get the version that's different to what most of my friends are getting, and most of them are getting Pokemon Violet. My best friend, my sister, and my wife have committed to getting Pokemon Violet. So I'm getting Pokemon Scarlet no matter what, even though the Pokemon I prefer are in Pokemon Violet. So after the trailer, they've also put on their website, the Pokemon Company, some other features that are worth taking a look into. There's the Let's Go mechanic, which lets your Pokemon go out on their own if they're strong enough or if they're responsible enough, I guess. And they get to fight Pokemon on your behalf, gain some experience. I think this is a great way to let you continue adventuring and not having to worry about grinding and fighting Pokemon one after the other. This is a pretty good way to streamline the game. I don't know if I'll be using it all that much, but if it's well implemented, it could be a really exciting feature. Same with Auto Battle, which is part of that. Your Pokemon will be fighting Pokemon by themselves. You can actually just stand by and watch them fight, which seems interesting. I think they've shown a bit of it in the trailer. So yeah, that's it for the Pokemon trailer. There's a lot of cool news, and I'm sure there will be plenty of other opportunities to talk about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet before they come out in November. I really like how they're drip feeding the information, and we're just getting a bit more every week. It's really exciting to be getting so much Pokemon news about this game, which I think might be the best Pokemon game yet, but time will tell. Also, with this Pokemon game, they've announced a new Pokemon-themed Switch OLED, and honestly, I think this is the best looking Switch yet. I think I want it. As someone who still has his day one Switch that's still doing good but is starting to show its age, this could be the time for me to switch. It has a beautiful back with the starters imprinted on it and other designs, and it has the Scarlet and Violet logo on each Joy-Con. The colors match the game colors. It's perfect. Oh, there's also a little Pokeball logo on the dock. Anyways, that's it for news. Now, we're going to be talking about the juiciest rumors this week. So, the juiciest rumor of them all is that a Nintendo Direct might be coming next week. And people have been speculating a lot, but it seems like it's hovering around the same topics. It seems like this will be a GameCube-heavy Nintendo Direct, which will include The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker and The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD, which previously released on Wii U. These are honestly the perfect port. Most Nintendo gamers have been waiting for them. It's a no-brainer to bring them to Switch. So I think it's a question of time before we get them. And this would actually be the perfect time because we've had no Zelda this year. And getting Zelda every year has honestly been one of the best features of the Nintendo Switch. So apparently there's going to be other GameCube games like the Metroid Prime remastered game, which I am a bit skeptical about. It seems like when every Direct comes around, there are rumors circulating about Metroid Prime Remake or a Metroid Prime Trilogy, and it never comes to fruition. So I'm going to take it with a grain of salt and be a bit skeptical about this one. But the most important rumor about this Nintendo Direct is that The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is going to get its title revealed, and maybe some more gameplay, and maybe a release date. This would honestly be the best case scenario. We haven't had a real Direct this summer, and this would be the perfect way to get us excited for what Nintendo has coming up. I really hope we get Breath of the Wild 2 news, and that we don't get another delay. So next, I'll be going over some of the game releases of this week. So first we have Temtem, which is a Pokemon-like game that you can play online with friends. It delivers on a promise that many Pokemon fans such as myself would have wanted years ago, and that's just to play Pokemon online with friends, roam around the world together. And this seems like a promise that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is about to fulfill for us this fall. So I'm excited to see how it does it. But meanwhile, if you're raging or really craving some Pokemon action, you can play Temtem. It looks like a very competent alternative. There's also Lego Brawls that launched, which is a Super Smash-like game, but with Legos. We have Disney Dreamlight Valley, which is Disney's take on the simulation genre. It's kind of like a Sims game or Animal Crossing, but with Disney characters. The reviews are okay on this one, but it looks exciting nonetheless. We have Tinykin, which I was skeptical about because people were comparing it to Pikmin. I'm not a big fan of Pikmin, but I tried this one and it is absolutely amazing. The platforming elements mixed with the Pikmin-like gameplay is enthralling. I've been plugged to this game and can't take my hands off of it. It's really good, and for the price, I think it's absolutely worth it. There's also the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection, which includes all the games from the NES, SNES era, along with the arcade games that were around at the time. I only really have experience with Turtles in Time, which used to be one of my favorite games as a kid. So just for that game, I think the whole collection is worth it. But I'm pretty sure some other of these games are worth playing as well. So we have made it to the part of the podcast where I'm presenting my special segment. So I've been trying some cheaper games on the Switch, which don't typically get spotlighted, and I thought it would be great to include this in my podcast. So I'd like to present to you some games under $10 that are worth playing. I will be doing this every week. So for this week, we have Hollow 2. So, as I scour through the eShop looking for games to play, I've often seen Hollow, which is a first-person horror shooter, appear for a very cheap price, around $2 Canadian. But I was always very skeptical about it because of the price. But then, recently, I saw that it had a sequel, and that it was also on sale for very cheap. So I thought, hey, this game got a sequel. Maybe it's worth taking a look. The screenshots always made it look very good. So I thought, for that price, why not try it? So I downloaded the game and booted it up. And it's blurry and muddy and dark. But it has some interesting elements. Killing the hordes of enemies is fun. The game is reminiscent of Doom. It's like a very cheap version of Doom, but it retains some of the fun of this type of game. It has completely voiced actors and characters, and the music really encompasses what horror game music is supposed to sound like. I think it's pretty interesting, and if you get it on sale for around the $2 price point that I got it at, it's still on sale while I'm talking right now, I think it's worth playing. It's a good bit of fun. I was able to put a few hours into it and still wanted to play. It's like a Doom light version. If you don't mind the muddy textures and the blurriness and the darkness, even on handheld, I think this is an enjoyable game to get into. So I would definitely recommend it. And I'm going to put a screenshot of it on my social media with a recommend stamp from me. I think it's worth taking a look at. So, Hollow 2, get it while it's on sale, but don't get it if it's not on sale, because it's not enjoyable enough to pay full price for it. $2 though, great game. Great game. So, thank you for making it through this podcast with me. This was my first podcast, so thanks for bearing with me. It's my first experience. I still have a lot to learn, but I think this was a good experience. I do think I could benefit from having a script in front of me rather than trying to come up with the words on the spot. And maybe after I've done a few scripted podcasts, I will be able to go without a script. But for now, I think that's what I'm going to do for next week. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please give me some feedback. Please follow me on Instagram or on Twitter at Nintendo_Elite and give me your feedback. I do need it. And I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope you enjoyed this discussion about Nintendo topics. There was a lot to talk about this week. It was pretty exciting. I hope next week is just as exciting. And I will see you soon. Thank you so much.